Good day everyone. In this video, we will be learning about joining and separating angles. In this topic, we will be answering this essential question: how can you determine the measure of an angle separated into parts? Or how do we really join angles? Let's take a look at this one. Stephanie, Kay, and Shane each ate an equal sized piece of pizza. The measure of the angle of each pizza was 45 degrees. When the pieces were together, what is the measure of the angle they form? This is a very classic example of word problem involving joining and separating angles. Now, to focus further on each of those two subtopics, let's start with joining angles, wherein we have to add the measurements of the adjacent angles so that we can have the measure of the angle that they form together. Example number 1. As you see, we have angle A there. Using the broken line in red ink, you will see that both angle with 36 degrees and 125 degrees were combined together as the measure of angle A. Now, in this case, to get the measure of your angle A, what we have to do is to simply add 36 degrees plus 125 degrees. To do the workings, let's try to put it on this portion. 125 plus 36. Simply add them. 5 plus 6 is 11. Carry over 1. 2 plus 3 is 5. Plus the carryover earlier, that makes 6. Then just simply bring down 1. So the measure of angle A would be 161 degrees. We now have the measure of our angle A. Another example of joining angles would be this one. So very similar to the first example, we have here two adjacent angles which measure 62 degrees this time and 86 degrees. Now combining those two measurements, we can have the measure of angle A. So we can write this equation. The measure of angle A is equal to 62 degrees plus 86 degrees. Let us show our workings here at the side. 62 plus 86. 2 plus 6 is 8. 6 plus 8 is correct, 14. Now finally, we can put the final answer here, 148 degrees. We now have an answer for example number 2. I hope you're getting the idea now that if you have two adjacent angles with measurements given and you have to find the measure of the angle that they form together, then you will have to simply add them as part of joining angles. Moving on to separating angles this time. For this kind of angles, you have to subtract the given measure of the other angle with respect to the total measure of the angle that they form together. Hard to imagine? Let's have this first example. So in this case, these two angles or adjacent angles form 133 degrees together. Okay? So I can say that 133 degrees is a combination of 336 degrees and angle A, the measure of angle A. Now, in order for us to get the measure of angle A, we have to simply subtract 133 minus 36 because that angle should be removed from the total measure to get only the measure of angle A. So, it will go like this. Measure of angle A will be equal to 133 degrees minus 36. Let's try to subtract here. 133 minus 36. We have 3 minus 6 cannot be, so I need to borrow 1 from here. This one will become 13. 13 minus 6 is 7. Then this one will become 2. I'll borrow 1 here, so 12 minus 3 will give me 9. So, the measure of angle 9, or angle A, would be 97 degrees. There. Can you follow? Let's try to have another example. Another example would be about angle A again. So the total measure, combining the two adjacent angles in the figure, is 114 degrees. So I will be writing down 114 degrees is equal to the combination of 51 degrees plus the measure of angle A. To solve for how much is angle A, we have to simply subtract 114 minus 51 degrees. Showing the workings here would be 114 minus 51. 4 minus 1 is 3. 1 minus 5 cannot be, so I'll borrow. This one will become 11. 11 minus 5 will give me 6. So, the measure of angle A in example number 2 is 63 degrees. Now, to summarize our idea about joining and separating angles, joining angles is simply adding together the measurements of adjacent angles to get the measure of the angle that they form together. Whereas, on the other hand, separating angles, we need to subtract the unknown measure from how much is the angle that they form together in order for us to get the measurement of the other angle. I hope you have learned something today. Thank you for watching.